Now, Westbury residents took to the streets on Monday to protest over the violence in their community, as well as other issues including unemployment, service delivery issues, and the alleged marginalisation of coloured people in the local government as well as business. For more on this story, I'm joined by Dereleen James, who's a community activist in the area. Now, Dereleen, what led to the recent protests that we saw in Westbury regarding these employment opportunities for coloured people?
Well, I know that there's been great uproar in the community, not only in the community in Westbury, but in all the communities, for the mere fact that, over the weekend on June the 16th, we've had the employment drive by the Premier, Panyaza Lusufi, and as you see on social media, there's allegations of people's CVs being discarded of. So I'm not sure. I don't want to, say things without having investigated it and having the facts. So I know that our colored people are saying that there's no opportunities for our people. There's a high unemployment rate in our communities, hence you see the ongoing crime in the various areas.
Now, you speak about some of those.
But I know...
Yeah. You can go ahead.
I know specifically the community stood up last weekend Monday, and I think that was as a result of the 12-year-old that was shot in the head, also as a result of drive-by shooting and the ongoing gang fight in that community.
Now, you speak about grievances and concerns raised by Westbury residents, including employment opportunities and issues around crime as well. What more do we need to know about the situation in this area?
I think, we have been ranting and raving and we have been talking about this for years on end. I have done numerous interviews as well, so did the leaders of Westbury, and we just don't see the approach that we have asked for. We have said ample times that deploying SAPs only to that community is not going to yield the needed results. We said that we need economic development, that we need DSD, that we need health, we need all sectors, we need a multi-sectoral approach in that area. I cannot for the life of me understand, Westbury is one of your smallest coloured communities and still gun violence continues in that area. I heard the presenter saying earlier on that SAPS has indicated that shootings has actually reduced. For us, it's not about the shootings. Every time a person gets murdered, it's one life too many. The fact that our parents and that our families and our households and residents are living in fear, that is unacceptable. That tells you that not much has been done to ensure the safety of the residents. And at the end of the day, that is what matters most.
Now, there's also this recurring theme that oftentimes coloured communities are marginalised or no attention is paid on to these particular communities. Now, there's also a lot of talk around the Employment Equity Amendment Bill and its impact on residents in some of these communities and the future prospects of the youth as well. In what ways do residents even believe that this bill will indeed in some way contribute to drug abuse as well as the gang violence that we're seeing in some of these areas?
No, it's not that we have seen the results of the high unemployment rate in our communities. We have seen the impact of no development in all of our areas, not only Westbury, Eldorado Park, Riverleaf. You can take note of the shootings. It's been happening mainly in those areas as a result of unemployment. People will say to you, they go into rehab, they come back into the environment. It's the same environment. There's no change. There's no upgrade. So hence we have said, according to the National Drug Master Plan 2019 to 2024, that is the country's response document in responding to substance use disorder as well as gangsterism. It speaks to 21 departments being present and having an active role to play towards restoring communities such as Westbury. And for as long as we don't see that, we cannot alone just focus on SAPs. We cannot alone just focus on economic opportunities and economic development and employment. We need all departments. We need all spheres of government. You need local government, provincial government as well as national government to come on board and to come up with tangible programs in our community where we can actually see results. But right now, I cannot tell you how many people will be employed from the Premier's initiative in Westbury and Eldorado Park. Because like I've said, we've seen reports of CVs being thrown in the bin, and there are allegations that this was just another drive, to sort of get the details of youngsters for next year's upcoming elections. So we don't know where we're at. In the meantime, the shooting continues in our areas. We said that there's no will from SAPS. There's no level of investigations going on there in that area. The right minds aren't being deployed to the area to actually see where's this stemming from. Why can we not get a grip in Westbury? The same is going on in Cape Town for years on end.
Can you elaborate on the assertion being made by residents that this is not a racially motivated protest, but rather a response to reverse apartheid?
No, definitely. Back in the day, there's the saying that goes around in our communities. Back in the day, we weren't black, we weren't white enough. Now we're not black enough, and now we are still being marginalized. So it's basically apartheid in reverse, excluding us, from what is rightfully ours. I mean, that cannot be fair, not in this day and age.
Dereleen James, she's a community activist, of course, speaking about those protests that we saw playing out in Westbury this week.